Well, it's not quite the discovery of the Da Vinci Code, yet for Canberra history buffs, perhaps just as exciting. Local historian David Heaton, well known to regular viewers, loves a good yarn. His stories of characters and controversy have brought Canberra's early history into a new light. He's fascinated, perhaps a little obsessed, with the capital's past, but now he's written his own accidental chapter in the Canberra story. David Heaton has stumbled across a famous, rare and elusive work by Walter and Marion Marnie Griffin. Earlier this week, the document was revealed with appropriate fanfare.
The missing piece of the puzzle, the rediscovered treasure, the Da Vinci Code moment on our way to the centenary in 2013.
You would have been like a kid in a lolly shop. You'd have been bouncing off the walls.
I was, but I don't think I was any happier than the people in the archives and Ian Batterham, I'd have to say.
I'd written actually an article where I'd mentioned it and said it had actually been lost. So when David rang me and said, remember that document you mentioned in your article? I might have found it. And I said, no, you're not telling me that. No, it's not possible. But it was, in fact, the truth. He found it for us.
I've got to say, I don't think I'll have another moment like it. When I was unfurling it, it was a thrilling moment. There's no doubt about that.
Was the music playing in your head?
It pretty much was, sort of... It really was. It was, a Steven Spielberg moment.
It's not quite the lost ark, but this is what has the historians so excited. In 1912, Walter Burley Griffin submitted 16 drawings as his entry for the competition to design Canberra. 15 are held at the National Archives. Number 16 was thought lost, perhaps even destroyed. Now the collection is complete once more.
David Heaton described it as a Da Vinci Code moment. Would you be that dramatic?
To suddenly have Dave ring up and say, I found it, well, it was a very exciting moment. Especially for me, I have a sort of a soft spot for the Griffins because I did a lot of the conservation work in the 80s and 90s on the Griffin drawings, so I have a strong feeling for them.
The 16th drawing is unique. The other Griffin items are works of art as well as design plans. This is a technical drawing that gives insight into the Griffin's vision for the city.
I think you've got to look more closely at it to see its beauty. It doesn't grab you the way some of other of Marion's drawings do, but it's equally important in what it tells you, and there's a lot of information there.
That information is what buildings Walter Burley Griffin thought Canberra would need and where they should go.
Give me bearings, mate. Where would City... Oh, there we go. City... To that City Hall.
Yeah, so this is...
So that is civic.
So the rectangle is hexagonal. Is it hexagonal?
Yes, I think it is.
This drawing is a key or an annotated legend to complement Griffin's famous triptych, the three-panelled picture viewing Canberra from Mount Ainslie.
Effectively, other than the university and civic, effectively there isn't a single building that is here in the key to the Griffin plan that is now in that position in the city in 2011.
The more you look, the more you see.
Yeah, that's true. This is a one-off item. With relative ease, this might have found its way into a warehouse and destined to be ultimately thrown out. By luck and a little bit of good management through the years, through the decades, we have it reunited here at the National Archives.
A lot of luck. After the design competition, the 16th drawing was classed as a planning document and at some stage was separated from the others.
So I'd seen a photograph, a sort of a poor quality black and white photograph from 1912, so I knew it had existed, or had existed.
And that's interesting straight off. 339 Fulton Street, Brooklyn, New York. This piece we don't know exactly what occurred other than knowing it was with the planners.
The other 15 Griffin drawings went through their own story of loss and rediscovery. They spent decades in a tin shed at the Kingston Works Department before being found in the 1950s and eventually made part of the National Archives. This one, however, remained lost for over 80 years or more, until just a few weeks ago when David Heaton went snooping through the storage shelves of the National Planning Institute on an unrelated search.
There in a sleeve rolled up was this particular piece. The people in the office, no fault of theirs, probably thought that you were looking at a reprint of a Griffin work with some significance, rather than a unique, one-off, super special item.
This item goes from being on a dusty old shelf to bouncing around the back of your car to be in the absolute loving care of the conservators here.
It was in the back of the car for 4 or 5 days before I actually got it out, took it inside, knowing that I was going to have to sort of unfurl it along a length, and finally did it when I was working in the study, and actually probably appropriately working on Canberra history.
Does it make you shudder when you think of it sitting in a dusty old warehouse and then bouncing around the back of David Heaton's car?
It does a little, yes. The people who sort of had it up until recently just didn't know what they had. But now we know what it is. I think we're going to give it the white glove treatment.
I'm certain we're going to have some other discoveries between now and 13 and beyond because of the increased interest and passion for Canberra history. But in light of knowing the Canberra story, and I guess I know it pretty well now, my kids would say, to death, but on the basis of that knowledge, that this really is the missing piece in terms of the key items to do with the early design history of Australia's national capital.